fusion music, and I got that directly from the jazz world. And the jazz icon for me, which is I'm quite sure for millions of other folks, is Miles Davis. Miles Davis is the man who I walked through the jazz door through, and he kicked it open for me, and he got me to appreciate this art form. Prior to me really discovering Miles, jazz was that old fogey, old-timey music. I wasn't trying to feel that. And the first time I heard Miles Kind of Blue, that album changed my whole view of the jazz world, and opened me up to all the cats that I love today.
All right, all right. So are you a full-time musician?
Full-time in my mind, but no, I do my day job by day, but I'm always tinkering. Every day I come home, it's rare that I can go in a week, 3 days without coming down into my studio.
Okay, so my question, the reason why I asked that is how do you balance your music with other obligations, such as your job, your wife, your children, and other things that go on in your life? How do you balance?
Well, it is easy, and it's easy for one simple reason, because you got to do your job for 8 hours, so that's a given. One of the gifts that happened with the COVID was they select few of us come home and work from home. So I strategically put my work PC down in my music studio, so I can work and do music at the same time.
All right.
That's the best of both worlds. And then when it comes to my own family, everybody's family will tell you that everybody's family is the greatest, bestest family you ever wanted to have in the world. But I can say this truly about my family, which I don't think is true about a lot of other families. The one thing about my family is, thank God, we are all creative. All of us have our own different lanes. My daughter's the dance girl, she's the fitness girl, she's got her own hiking thing, and she just got married and moved on. My son is a musician like me, played in the band with me, but he never stopped doing his own stuff, okay? My wife is that classic, literary, playwright, theologist, PhD, so she's got her own thing. So what is beautiful about that is when you have folks that are that creative, you don't have the needy folks, okay? The folks that kind of drain your energy and take that away from you, the folks that are needy, they cling to you, they pull you down, they stop you from doing your thing. So in this family, basically we tap into one of the other ones when we need them to help with the project. It's like, hey, can you come here and drop these vocals in here? Oh, you know what? I need you to write lyrics for this, Junior, can you come put some keys on this? So we have that wonderful symbiotic relationship where we kind of help each other when we need each other. And then when we have that downtime, when we're off that creative train, we do get a chance to sit down. And if you ever want to have some great times, we need to put the mics up one day and just have a family discussion and just hear the topics and the things that we talk about. We can talk about the silliest thing from a commercial on TV, clear on up to world events that are going on, and talk about it with depth and incredibleness.
Right. So we're going to talk about your music a little bit. So how would you describe the music that you typically create? And when you answer that question, we're gonna roll into you telling us a little bit about your project that you have out right now.
Well, one thing you'll notice about me, if you ever watch me play drums, you'll just look, you'll hear 4 bars of music, and you'll be like, yo, this is a funky drummer, okay? Funk is just, that's my calling card. So when you listen to my own original stuff, it is probably funk driven first. And when I say funk, that means it has usually a popping drum beat. It has this tight bass line to it, and it's got to be rhythmic and syncopated. So that's usually where I start from. And usually the way I create music, most of the time I usually come up with a drum groove, add a bass line to it, then I start adding chords and all the pretty stuff. And usually for me, the words come last. Every once in a while, the words will come first, which is shocking because I tend to have to hear it, hear the music before I can drop the words inside of it. So if I had to describe myself in a genre, I would be an R&B funk-based artist.
Oh, okay. So I have a copy of your album, and so we're going to go over each of the songs. I love the titles of each of them. So tell me a little bit about The King Is Here.
I had to put this song on here because this is one of the oldest songs that I've had. And when the world of sampling came along, I was a musical snob, a musical purist. I was like, why these guys sampling music? Why they can't make their own music? I was one of them haters like that until I realized that, when James Brown was towards the end of his career and he wasn't doing like he did back when he was the king. And when one of these hip hop guys sampled his record and James got these massive checks, I said, you know what, this sampling thing ain't so bad. If you want to sample my stuff, go ahead. So what I did on this song called The King Is Here, my son is 33 today, and I believe he was around 7 when I recorded this song. And I basically sampled his voice, my voice, and the title is The King Is Here, and you'll hear things in there like The King Is Here, Where's the King? Your Majesty. And I basically wanted him to understand that even as a young man, that we come from royalty. And so when you're saying the king is here, that means when he walks in the room, when I walk in the room, we're kings. And you hear your majesty, your majesty. And it's a simple sample-based groove, but it's kind of tight and funky. And I just felt it was perfect to open that up because that was a doorway to the past to help pull me through and work my way up to the future.
Okay, nice, nice. Okay, number 2, I'm lonely. That sounds a little,
Yes.
you know.
Well, the song is called I'm Lonely, All That I Needed, in parentheses. I like songs that have parentheses in
Okay.
it. And I just, the concept came to me. Basically, it's almost like I see the story. And one of the things I'm not good at is I need to learn to play the characters in my songs. My son, when he does his music, he does that very well. Prince, obviously, was the king of that. Michael Jackson also. And so I really felt that song. It resonated with me. So when I wrote it, it's probably the newest song on the project. I really liked it. I actually shot a quasi video just to see what I look like trying to perform it, and I flat out loved it. I thought it was like super cool.
Okay, all right.
And so I basically put those elements together, and the reason I really fleshed this song out was because I was trying to work on all the vocal pieces that were going on. I got some ad-libs going through, I got a couple things happening in the back, and it was just a way for me to really, I like to say I'm a musician first, I'm not a singer, and it kind of forced me to step up front and take on those roles as a singer. So although I don't consider myself a singer, that's a song I think my voice sounds really good on because it fits that groove perfectly.
All right then. Number 3, The Melancholy Way.
Oh man, this I don't even know how to describe it from the sense of, it's just like the title says, the melancholy way. It's not like a love thing. It's not like a funk thing. It's this trippy, ethereal kind of, it's just these off lyrics and, just this kind of spacious, almost interlude-y, type thing that I turn into a whole song. It's just, I love it because it's off the beaten track.
Oh, okay. All right then. Number 4, Mystery Lady.
Oh,
That
no.
sounds like that might be a little bit,
I love that song. This is a song where, if you know the artist Michelle Indegato, one of the things she does amazingly is she will rap the vocals, and not really rap, but she'll speak the verses, and then she'll sing the choruses. So this is one of the first songs where I tried to cop that style, where you do exactly that. And then I wanted to weave the story around, being a mystery lady. Like, it's a story of infidelity. It's got a woman. This is the mystery lady, and that's how the story weaves its way along. And I really the groove is super heavy. The lyrics and just the music is it's intense. It really is intense. And it's probably one of my favorite songs. I really have to tell you. I've had it for a minute, and it's one of my favorite tracks.
Okay then. All right. Number 5, Long Distance Lover.
Ooh, it's another throwback that I reach back for. And the line behind this story is, my neighbor across the street was in a long distance relationship, and she used to come hang out with us, and she was just talking about all the things about the relationship and how difficult it was. Unbeknownst to her, I was sitting there and I was literally writing down all the things she was saying. And so she left, and I started tinkering with some music, and next thing you know, I literally wrote the whole song.
Okay.
I wrote the song basically based on what she said to me.
All right.
And it's one of my early songs, so you hear those kind of old school drum beats to it. And I actually was impressed when I first cut the song because it's like the first time I really sang my own type ballad, if you will. And I was a little surprised of how it came out. So it's got a couple twists in it I think will engage the listener.
Okay, I'm looking forward to hearing that. Number 6, We Have That Kind of Love.
Oh man, I thought I should have might even close with that because that is, to me, what Prince's Purple Rain movie is to him. It's the autobiographical. That's the way you should say that. Yes, I do have a public school education. I apologize.
Okay now.
But It is literally, if you want to know about me, all you have to do is put the headphones on, listen to that song, and read those lyrics.
Okay.
That story, it talks about my mother, my father, talks about my relationship with my own family, my wife and kids, and it just weaves that story of who I am and how did I become who I am. And the glue that held it all together was because we had that kind of love.
Oh, okay.
And that's the theme that weaves through that song. And it's got that cool refrain that I hope that people be walking around singing when they see me. I want people to be like, scoop, scoop, scoot-a-loo-doo-doo.
Okay. Okay, and there's only 7 songs on this CD. Number 7 is Mo Flow. Tell us a little bit about that.
And I love bands that do vocals and instrumentals. So one of my favorite bands that does that is Incognito. They have this amazing way of delivering these amazing vocal tracks, and then within the same record they'll deliver 3 or 4 amazing instrumentals. All the funk bands used to do that back in the day, especially a band like Pleasure. They would drop with these incredible vocals, then they would drop a nice instrumental. Mass Production did it on a couple of their albums. So I wanted to pay tribute to those bands that did stuff like that. And Mo Flow is just it's a classic funk workout. It's got a lot of parts happening. I tend to be busy. I'm one of them people, you know, I'm throw everything into the kitchen sink. You know, just to have a drum line and a string, you know, like a string section, that don't do it for me. I gotta have drums, horns, bass, you know, I gotta have all this stuff going. And that song, I was able to drop a lot of things inside of it to flesh it out. And I think it's an intense workout.
Okay, great. Well, it sounds like you're really excited about this CD. So when does it drop?
Now, in the perfect world, if all the things work the way they will, it'll drop on my birthday, December 7th.
Oh, okay.
Hence the idea, the CD is called Introducing the Brother AJ 7, because it's introducing me to the world, and it's 7 songs. My birthday is December 7th, so it's keeping that 7 theme and locking everything home. So that's why I chose this time to truly drop this project.
Okay.
Because all the symbolisms that go along with it, and the fact that number 7 is one of the most powerful numbers in our numerology system. There's so much significance to it, from biblical to Egyptian to just worldwide, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the energy I'm trying to, you know, it's almost like the way a hurricane comes rolling through. I'm trying to harness that energy on that day, and hopefully all those things will line up and it'll all work perfectly.
Okay, I see that now. I see the 7 songs. Yeah, you're born on the 7th. I get it.
Yeah, man.
I see it now. Let me ask you, if you could open a show for any artist, who would that be?
Is that alive or dead?
Well, I'm thinking future now, so I would think that artist would have to be alive right now.
Because clearly it would have been Prince back in the day.
I'm thinking that it would have been Prince back in the day.
But I would tell you, if I could open up, I would love to open up for Mint Condition.
Oh,
I think Mint Condition is Stokely is now going solo. He's got his second project just dropped. One of the most significant voices of this generation. But what that band meant to all of us musicians, a lot of the bands that came out, they weren't truly bands. They were mostly, you know, studio people together in the background. This was a self-contained band, like back in the day, to the point where they lost Kerry Lewis, who played keyboards, and ended up marrying Tony Braxton. They just went from a 6-man band down to a 5-man unit and kept going. I would love to open up for them, because these are real guys, real musicians who are out there putting it down type real. If Stokely goes solo and does not return to the band, it will definitely never be the same, because he was the driving force behind that band, because it's really his lead vocals that you recognize as the sound of the band. But all of those cats, you know, Ricky and Odell and, you know, Jeffrey and, oh my God, I'll forget their names, but all of them, they are just consummate musicians. They have written some of the best songs in history of music again. And I love those dudes dearly, and I'm so blessed that I had a chance to see them live, and they did not disappoint. So I would like to open up for a group like that.
Oh, okay. That brings me to my next question. Who would you like to collaborate with in the future?
Wow, that's a good question. I kind of have a couple things. I like the boom bap hip hop producers. You know, you got the new generations like your Pharrells and your Kanyes. But there's a guy who I truly love, who is just, he's not underrated, because we know who he is, but his name is DJ Premier. DJ Premier created some of the most amazing hip hop records of all time. And he has this classic boom bap sound that is just lethal. And I would like to do something like that because I'm not, at the age I am, I'm not really a hip hopper, but hip hop